Come on in the room, y'all. Hello and welcome to the Minding My Own Purpose podcast with me, Cherie Patrice. Today's segment, we have the voice behind the voice, and I am featuring former background vocalist, Miss Lois Du Plessis. I always say it wrong. We've been working on this one today. Help me out, Lois.
Du Plessis.
Du Plessis. We have been going through this forever. That's your fault, because you let me get away with it 10 years ago to not learn it.
Right.
Come on in the room, baby love. I'm excited about having you.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to be here. Hi, sister.
Oh my gosh. So 10 years later, here we are, right?
Oh my gosh. Can you believe it? It's been 10 years. That's so crazy.
Man, let me tell you about this girl. Besides me not knowing how to say her last name correctly. I have my own way of saying it. But anyway, incredible heart, incredible girl. I mean, well, that girl, woman, all the way around. And I can't say enough about her. I'm gonna let her tell her story. We just decided to come together. We kind of catch up with each other periodically. We talk maybe once a month, maybe once every 2 months, check in on each other. And from the day we met, we bonded and clicked. So we've always kept in touch with each other. And I just wanted to share her heart with you guys. So Lois, you ready, girl?
I'm ready.
All right.
I'm so ready for this conversation.
What does your cup say, my friend?
Well, it says, for I know.
Come on now.
I have for you, saith the Lord. Hallelujah. Plans to prosper you and not to harm you, but to give you a hope in the future.
That's good. That's good. I think we've been holding on to that for like a long time.
Yeah.
Well, I got a cup too.
What does your cup say, sister?
You know what it says. We're doing it right now. I got my second cup of coffee, which I only drink one. But I want to talk a little bit about how we met. I have my perspective. You have your perspective. Let's go with yours first.
Okay, so first of all, thank you for having me today. I am so honored. For anybody watching this, you guys need to read up on Cherie. She is phenomenal. She is one of the best in the entertainment industry in terms of music. Because I got to brag about you. I can't just be on here and just pretend like...
This is supposed to be your moment.
So anyway, I'm just going to say that I was so honored to meet Cherie. When I first met her, I did not know who she was. But I remember we were both introduced to each other through Israel Houghton, who was my boss at the time and still is to a certain degree. I'll always be a part of New Breed. That'll never, ever go away. I'm just in South Africa at the moment. But that'll be family to me. And that's how we met. And we were, what year was it? Deeper?
2010.
2010. It was anniversary. So it was 10 years for that year that we were celebrating, and I believe he had brought a bunch of different people together that year.
Yes.
Everybody was there, and so he wanted everybody who had ever been a part of New Breed to be a part of the conference here. And Cherie sang on Saturday Never. No, that wasn't you. You sang on.
I wanna thank you for letting me be myself again. Remind me to come back to that. That came back to get me.
First of all, she remembers. So she sang on that, and she also sang on another song, but I can't remember it right now. But anyway, Mr. H loves your voice, and I remember talking about your voice and how excited he was for you to be a part. And so that's how we met. We got introduced to it through Israel, and we met at the conference and we connected instantly. It was
Immediately.
kind of,
Yeah.
it was like, what? This is my soul sister
Right.
forever.
We talked on the phone though, because you were handling some admin stuff too. You're pretty like multifaceted there, ma'am.
Well, I mean, I
You were
for
handling
conference,
it too. Big
yeah,
ups.
I mean, we did quite a bit of we all played many varied roles in New Breed, whether it was behind the scenes with conferences, we would help with organizing the conference. My passion is obviously video, and so I got to be a part of the team that did the conference news, the production, stuff like that. So that was my passion, and just overall organizing. There was a bunch of us that lived in Houston, and we got to be a part of organizing the conferences. And I think I was the one that reached out to you
You
to
did.
tell you that you needed to, that Mr. H wanted you to come. That was a part of my job, was reaching out to people and inviting them to come. So I'm so happy. Here we are 10 years later, and we
Yeah. Thank
are
goodness for
still
social media. 'Cause I think at that time I had moved back to Chicago for like, I think I was there for like 4 years,
yeah.
and just out of nowhere, I just happened to get a phone call and I think a message at Facebook. Hey, we need you to come down. I was like, wait, what? That was 10 years later. So 10 years ago, um, Nick Cooper had pulled, of course, Nick, right? Great voice,
Yeah.
right? He recommended me to go, Elfie. All right. Sorry about that, y'all. Technical tease. All right. So he had called me. Oh, you called me. No. Nick called me to come in and sing background. And that's where I met Daniel Johnson with his crazy self.
Yeah.
And Tata Vega was in the room. I was like, okay, this is good. Tommy Sims was in the room. And it was just Crystal Murden was in. I was about to faint. Crystal Murden was in the room. And we were all there to sing on Israel's new record. And I think this was before it was New Breed. So we had a great time. It was so much fun. And next thing I know, he's like, Can you sing the solo part right here? And I was like, me? Oh, okay, yeah, sure. I didn't think any more about it. And that was 10 years ago. So going back to deeper, Israel found me to come sing in the session. And he
Yeah.
flew me out to Nashville, Tennessee. I'd never been there. And I got there and, the whole crew was there. And they all start singing this song. And I'm like, what are y'all singing? And it didn't register to me what they were singing. And they were singing, I want, no, well, actually the other part. And I was like, what are y'all singing? And Israel was like, oh, so you really don't remember. And I was like, no, seriously, what are y'all singing? He was like, the song that you sang on the first record. And I felt like this. I was like, oh, I'm just really hoping that you are not thinking I'm being a diva, because I really don't. I didn't remember at first, and then it came back real quick, but that was 10 years ago.
Yeah,
So
that's
fast
because you're
forward.
signing records.
Oh, it was like, oh, excuse me. Okay, well, I was like, no, really, it's not like that. But so we knocked those out, and then he was like, okay, what can you sing on? We did Love God Love People. It was Aaron Lindsay. That was the first time I met him. We
That's
knocked that
fun.
out. Right, Love God Love People, and then I sang on two other songs, it was fun. So anyway, I hadn't met y'all yet, and I knew there was a New Breed, but I had met any of y'all. So when he called me for the conference, I was like, well, I remember being there and was just waiting for New Breed to show up. Like, are they coming? Are they coming? No, y'all weren't coming. So finally, when I met you, it was just an automatic kindredship, and so.
Yeah.
And a sisterhood that was formed immediately and has gone on for years. So just checking, either you come to Chicago and say, hey, come sing with us. So I think we have a couple of pictures of us at the actual conference. But I remember a lot of us was there. It was people I hadn't, Melanie Daniels, just a gang of people I hadn't seen and didn't even know that we knew each other. I recently went to YouTube, and you can find, oh, there it is. You can find the conference on YouTube. Somebody took some snippets, some things I didn't take pictures of, and all of a sudden I'm just hanging out with y'all. I didn't know that I was supposed to be singing with y'all or nothing. I'm just hanging out, they had free passes to go here, they're just having fun, going from room to room, and so we're in the backstage. He's like, come on, let's go. I'm like, go where? We're about to go on stage to do what? no, come on, let's go. We're going right now. I was like, to do what? And all of a sudden, I'm in the middle of this thing with the sundress on and sandals. And y'all got on the gear. Y'all got the jackets on and the shoes and whatever. And I'm in the middle, like, I'm going with it because I know most of the songs because only the whole world knows all of Israel's songs, all the praise and worship songs. We worship you. And y'all just going to town. So then y'all start dancing and hopping. And I'm in the middle and I had to move. Like, right then and there, no matter what. And
Yeah, that was a
y'all were doing the
requirement.
whole like, and I was like, oh gosh. And I remember Melanie, she was on the stage. She was like, yep, that's what you get. But I had to move. And so it was a lot of fun. Y'all treated me like family. And yeah, we are. I, in a sundress. Yes. Getting our entire life. And it's been on and popping ever since. So the next time we saw each other was in Chicago.
Yeah.
And that's what happened then, Lo. I done got all excited with the story. My bad.
No, hey, in Chicago, we were on tour with Love God Love People with the tour, right? That was it Love God Love or Love Revolution?
No, well, it was Love God Love. No, that was Love Revolution.
It was Love Revolution tour, but we sang Love God Love People.
You did
on the tour. Sheesh, we did so many tours with Mr. H. That it's just like it's so crazy to me. Like sometimes I think back, I'm like, man, was that really my life? Like, like you think back and you go, wow, God, did that really happen to me?
Yeah, all over the world.
It's like it's so surreal for me sometimes, but I'm so grateful. But anyway, we came to Chicago and we called you up and Mr. H was like, hey, call Cherie up, so we can have her come and sing with us on the date. And I think we were in Chicago. Was it that day that I stayed?
You did stay. No. No, that was you came twice. So the second time, that's when you stayed.
First time we came, we sang together. We just connected that night, and then we came to Chicago for something else. And I came and I hung out with you for a couple of days, and it was really nice because I had music that I had written, and I just was so shy about it, and I had never really spoken to anybody about my music because I'm super shy about it, and I just have always had this worry about what are people going to think about my voice because it's so different. And I walked in there and you were like,
come on, let's go.
Let's go. And you pulled something out of me and you just gave me such a confidence booster that day. And you were like, you've got such, you taught me to, I'll never forget that. You said, use the strengths that you have, use what you have. And I remember you saying to me, you have such a big range.
You do.
You don't have to do all the other stuff. Just use what you have. And I've held on to that for as long as I can remember, is just you holding on to that and knowing that, man, use what you have. You don't have to have what anybody else has. But just use what you have. And I got that from you. So thank you for just dropping that little nugget into me and constantly pushing towards my personal best.
That's awesome. Yeah, I said, come on, let's go. D came over. D Wilson came over with his guitar. He was like a kid. He came over. Y'all go follow D too, huh?
D was so much younger then.
He was. He's married now with the kid. Adele is everything and every bag of chips. She is hilarious. I have yet to meet her, but I always text and crack jokes to her. Anyway, you have one of my favorite songs that we can't seem to find, and I want you to record that song. If I could only see you. She wrote a song to her people back in, where are you from? Tell the people where you're from.
I am currently and from Johannesburg, South Africa. I was born in Johannesburg. I grew up in a very small town called Naseret in Middelburg, Mpumalanga. But I live in Johannesburg currently. And I used to have a long distance relationship with my family. And so I wrote a song called Love in Time Zones or Time Zones. I'm not sure what I'm going to say.
I love that song.
But yeah, do you want me to sing it? Is that
just a little bit? Just a little bit.
Oh my God.
I wish Dee was here to play the guitar.
Okay, so it goes, you say good morning, and I say good evening. I say I'm sleepy, and you say I'm only waking up. We have love on a different time zone.
Yes, come on now.
I say it's winter and you say it's springtime. I say I'm freezing and you say the sun is shining
Come on
bright.
now.
Love on a different time zone.
What part?
If only I could see you. If only I could touch you on your face. If only I could hold you once again, like before.
And child with the guitar too. Y'all don't even know. I could feel. I think what I love so much about it is that you sang it so passionately, but so gently, and I could feel that you really missed home. And I was like, wow, what is it like to live in South Africa? Because we're all the way over here. And you, please tell us the story of how you met Israel and how you ended up on tour with him.
Okay, so um, initially I went to school to be an actor. So I was an actor, and then I was doing a promotional tour for an ad company, and ended up landing a job for selling advertising space for a new reality show, which we didn't ever really have in our country, called Pop Stars. And so I'm telling a long story, but anyway,
We have
that's
time.
how I started out in a little situation in life. And I was selling advertising space for the show, and we would go to these ad companies and try to sell ad space so that the show could go live. And then the next year around, my best friend, so I wasn't intending to enter this competition by any way. My friend asked me to go and audition with her. I auditioned with her, and I ended up going through to the top 10 of the show called Pop Stars in our country. And so I was a singer, actor, performer in my country, and a huge Israel the New Breed fan. I've always grown up in church. Church has always been my life. That has been my background. That has been my foundation. So I was a
Wait,
huge.
so are you saying that you were not an original member of New Breed? Because that
No,
I
no,
did not know.
no. I mean, I wasn't in the first group of people
Wow.
that were part of New Breed. I wasn't
Okay.
on a line. I wasn't in new season, none of those things. So when Israel came to the country, it was maybe 3 years after I had been in this reality show, whatever. So you know how these TV shows go: you're famous one day, next day nobody knows who you are, and that's how it goes, and you carry on with life, because that's how these reality TV shows work. And at that time, I was just working in my theater world, acting, and we were still performing as a band, but we were no longer signed to, we were signed to EMI, but we were no longer signed to them. So I was acting a lot more. And Israel came to the country. He did a concert. I was so excited to go to this concert. I loved his music. I was a fan, super fan.
We all are.
And I
Hello?
went to the show and I was praying. Literally, I was praying. Well, if I just rewind back, so a couple of weeks prior to that, he was singing at a conference. He was there with Eddie Long, Bishop Eddie Long, and he was singing at this conference. And I remember saying to my friend, I'm going to sing with that guy one day. And she looked at me like I was crazy, but it just shows you like the power of speaking things into existence. And then a couple of weeks later, he came to Bishop Tudor Bismarck's brother's church, Mark Bismarck's church, and we went to the concert. So I was praying the whole day. I was like, Lord, please, if you just hear my prayer, if I could just meet Israel, I don't care about anything else. If I could just meet, that's all I want. I just want to meet him. So after the show, he said, well, I don't normally do this. I'm going to open up with some questions, which I thought, this is God answering my prayer, because I was praying all day. And he opened up for questions. I didn't know what I was going to ask. I just wanted to meet Israel. I went to go stand in the line. people people were asking questions and whatnot, and when it got to my turn to ask a question, somebody started screaming for me to sing, and I was like, shh, and they were all like, sing, and I was like, no, keep quiet. And then eventually he goes, oh, she can sing. And I was like, oh no, I just wanted to meet you. Thank you so much for taking our questions. I'm so excited to meet you. I was so stoked that he was speaking to me. And I didn't sing. And I just said, well, thank you so much for your time. And we've heard that you're planning to work in Africa. How can we get involved in that? And, he was like, we don't do auditions and stuff, but we'd love to stay connected with you. And that was that. I was so satisfied that day. I met Israel. I left. We didn't connect that day. I didn't take his contact. He didn't take mine. I left. So about 6 months, he comes back to South Africa. At the time, I was hosting a TV show on SABC2 here in our country called 316, which was a Christian magazine program.
You're hosting? Like in television or radio?
Television.
Come on, TV.
Yeah.
Yes.
So it was like a Christian magazine program, and we were trying to get Israel as a guest on the show. So I'm trying to get Israel because he's here in the country. Okay. He's looking for a girl that asked the question at his concert. So it was really weird because I was trying to get a hold of him. He couldn't get a hold of me. He was looking for this girl that asked the question. And then finally, when he was in Zimbabwe, Bishop Tudor Bismarck, which the church that we were at was in Johannesburg, was at his brother's church. They called someone from Zimbabwe to find out who this girl was. And that's how we reconnected. And they got a hold of me. And they were like, well, the day you asked the question, we knew that God wanted you to be a part of what we're doing. And I was just blown away. And my life changed forever after that. The story goes on, but that's the short version.
Wait, so how long did it take for you to pack up your things and leave? Because when it's God, sometimes it just happens like that. You just got to go. The queen of that all day.
So we officially met 2006, August 2006. And they invited me to come for Thanksgiving and Christmas, just to come for a holiday.
Okay, that's nice. And
I was so excited because I'd never been to America before, and I'd never, it wasn't really a goal of mine to go because I really wanted to do well in my country in terms of my career in acting. But then I wasn't even thinking that I was, I packed my bags for the holidays and packed literally for a month, and I never came back. Yeah.
That's how it goes.
Yeah. So when I went, they were like, we want you to stay. And it was a really hard decision for me because I had already committed to another theater production. I had just finished one. And like I said, I was hosting a TV show at the time. And it was a very difficult decision for me to make because I was wrestling with the fact that I had committed to something. And Israel was like, well, God is bigger than that. When it's time for you to.
Right.
He was like, it's simple. God is bigger than that. I was like, it's not that simple, sir. And
that reminds me of something. Go ahead.
Yeah. So it took me a couple of days. I think I made a decision. My flight was on the 3rd of January to come back home. And I made a decision on the 31st of December that I was staying. So, yeah, that's how it happened.
Wow. That's cool. I remember when I first did the first fruit, my first independent record. I was like, yeah, this is my plan. And he was like, so you sure you don't want to I said, no, I see my way back in 2000, I think it was 2002 or 3. Or before I got married, I was making this, I started working on this independent record, which is First Fruit. And I said, I just want to sit and I just want to sing in a coffee house. And he was like, a coffee house? That's it? I was like, yeah. He was like, you sure? I was like, yeah, I just want to sit and sing acoustic Christian music and sing the word in a coffee house. And he was like, okay, well, when you're ready to tour the world and sing in a stadium, holla at me, let me know. But at that time, that's where I was. I just was not interested in doing all that. And I think he was probably just forming New Breed and stuff at the time. But wow. So you're here. And so what was the first record that you sang on with Israel and as a New Breed member?
First Fruit is one of my favorite records. Pure.
First of all, we're talking about the.
I'm sorry, I just had to have a little segue.
No.
Guys, if you
bring it in. Let's go back to the first song.
Yeah, Cherie's music. Do yourself a favor. If you're a background singer,
here we go.
Do yourself a favor and get her music. Like, her style is so unique and so authentic. And okay, we'll go back to Israel. I see you getting upset with me.
I'm not getting upset. I'm just letting you. I forgot that they can see me because I'm looking at you. I'm gonna get you.
Get her music. Okay, the first record I sang.
Yes.
Sound of the New Breed. We did. Israel had this vision to do something with New Breed on their own. So I landed in Houston, and they were busy recording these records. And I actually landed and went straight to the studio.
That's how it goes.
Yep. We picked up Popeye's chicken.
Yep.
That day, and then we went straight to the studio, if I remember correctly, because I wrote all of this stuff down. And they were working on Sound of the New Breed. Was it Freedom first or Kingdom? I think it was Freedom first. So that was the first album I sang on, Sound of the New Breed, Freedom, and Kingdom. And then right after that, we did the very first Deeper conference. That was my first Israel and New Breed.
What was the moment that you feel like, oh my gosh, I'm with the New Breed? Mama, I'm on the radio. Yeah, God's anointing is everywhere, and we're actually a part of a movement that has changed the worship scene forever. What song was that for you?
I would honestly say that the moment. Okay, so first of all, I stayed with Mr. H and his family for the first couple of years that I moved to the States. So I think it became really real to me during the process of them writing for Deeper. And I remember a moment that really hit me was when he was writing the song Deeper. And he was sitting at the piano. He was just going through these words, singing about close enough to feel the cadence of your heart. And I was just like, in that, I think
you love Jesus. You really do. Like me.
Is this really happening to me? You know, like, I think I had so many of those moments over the years that I could distinctly remember where I just would sit in a room and go, am I really sitting here? Is this really happening to me? Mm-hmm. I still feel that way sometimes.
Yeah. I totally get it. So we were talking about your responsibilities. Did you get a chance to work with anyone else during this time? Did you guys sing with other artists, other gospel artists? What were some of like the pinnacle moments that you had while touring?
Yeah, I'm really grateful for Mr. H. He opened so many great doors for me. He introduced me to Hillsong London. We went to London and performed there. And then when they came to the States, I got to do the tour with them. I also got to be with him tour with Darlene Check, which is like one of my idols. No, not idol, but worship heroes, I would say. She is just the epitome for me of like.
The babies don't know about Darlene Check. They don't know about that. I'm just saying they don't know. That's okay. Well, that's another subject.
Yeah, she is. So we got to tour with her. Who else? BJ Putnam. I got to work on a little bit of Ricardo Sanchez's record, you know, and I believe that everything is relationship. Every relationship, like something we used to say in New Breed is life moves at the speed of relationship. And the more relationships that you have, the more open doors you have really in life.
Yeah, that's true.
I'm really grateful for that foundation that I had. I am grateful that I was able to get all of those open doors because of New Breed and Israel and New Breed. I'm grateful for that.
That's awesome. So the biggest, I think when I got to Deeper, you were pretty much holding the singers down and administrating, which I spoke of earlier. I was really impressed But then I got to sing with y'all. The first time I was like, come on, we going on stage to do what? To sing. Okay. But when we got to tour, well, I didn't really get to, I just get, I get called on spot dates. I came and showed up. And you were like, okay, this is what we're going to sing. This is, I mean, it's like, I wouldn't say mother hen, but I could tell, like, I didn't know that you were like the head of, and I don't mean that word facetiously at all and making light of. I like the word personally because the show's order and leadership. So you were in a place of, that's a better word, leadership. You portrayed that, and the other members had respect, but you all had respect for each other. And I could also see your values. The word, I could see the word was implanted, and you all were really trying your best to work in excellence. And so I was like, oh, okay. It was a time, you knew the schedule. You knew when he came in, what warm ups and sound checks and all that stuff. And then when he came in, you hit it. Then it was time to perform and go on. Then it was a certain etiquette. So you led by example. You never said, shh, be quiet. That's. And we're chatty and we have fun, but you just had such a presence and an aura, like, it's time to work. Let's go. And I know what that is, but I hadn't had that experience a whole lot I didn't have a whole lot of experience in the gospel arena at all. So and actually that was my first conference I had ever gone to. I had never gone to a conference before, because I grew up and all of that, and I just never really wanted to be a part of that at that time. That's a different workshop. I'm gonna go into all of that, but it was a great experience to just be a part of that and see the order. So anyway, we go in, y'all knew your parts. And I sang alto with you, which was fun. You were so loving to me. You gave me a mic. I don't think I had in-ears or anything, so I had no idea what was happening, but we had a grand old time. So that was our experience. So we'll fast forward to transitioning. And I wanted to know what your biggest takeaway was when it was time to transition, because I remember you called me and you said, hey, I'm going back to South Africa. Oh, not only that, I was like, hey, Lois, guess what? Guess who just moved to Texas? She was like, no way. Well, guess who's leaving and going back home to South Africa? I was like, no. So I made it a point to come down. I had never gone to Houston before. I drove down to go to your goodbye party. And I remember seeing a picture of that. And it was like South Africa everywhere. I know that there were some people who lived in Houston that had come to the party. So there was a certain type of music playing and food and dancing, and I could just feel the culture. And your beautiful jewelry. There we are. Hey, the beautiful jewelry. I cannot tell you how many times, Jazz, come on now. We already had a fit about the pronunciation of this, because I'm from Chicago and I have an accent, and I make up all these names for different people and the way I'm going to say your name and the way I'm going to say your product too. But great. First of all, yeah. So there's a display of jewelry. So y'all see that right there? Ooh, see, she had me. I used to.
I made all of those guys.
Pardon?
I said I made all of those.
You made all, girl. It was together. You hear me? And I met Tiff. Tiff was holding you down. Hey, Tiff. Was holding you down. You had your card. Y'all see the picture there. So a lot of people, I would come home and they'd be like, "Where'd you get those earrings from?" I was rocking your earrings yesterday, and your earrings are also on my album cover with the head wrap. Yeah. So I said, my friend, she made these. Go to her page. This is her link, and y'all get to do that today too, because she is, y'all. This is her stuff, handmade, beautiful, South African. See my bracelet. I can't sing the song. Y'all know what this go to, because I don't want to pay. I don't want to take my people's stuff and be messing up people's rights. It's just miss rights and everything for independent artists. But yeah, tell us some of the other things that you do, Lois, because we are more than just singers. Tell me about your life, Mama.
Like you said, I design jewelry, and I think when you live in the United States of America and you're a foreigner, you have to do multiple things. And I'm not saying this just as a foreigner. I think everybody has to work really hard. But I learned very quickly that traveling and singing with a group wasn't enough, because at the end of the day, you still have to pay bills. You still have to keep up a life. You have to buy clothes. You can't be out there looking raggedy.
Right.
and you're performing. So I did many things. I worked in the admin office for a while with New Breed. I hate administration, but it was a job. I was really grateful for that.
Yep.
I waitressed for a while. I worked at a laundromat. I worked at a coffee shop. I babysat a lot. I started a cleaning company, and I was like, oh, I'll clean for you.
I remember that.
Be able to do anything and everything. So I started a cleaning company, and then I realized that I really love working with my hands. And I think we went on a trip, and I saw somebody wearing really beautiful earrings. I think we went somewhere in Africa. I think it was Uganda. And I saw these beautiful earrings, and I was like, I can make those. And literally that's how it started, because I had been collecting fabric for years, because I always wanted to design a line of clothing. I always wanted to do that. And I never ever got to it. So I would just collect these fabrics all of wherever we went, whichever country we went to.
Mm-hmm.
And then when we went to Uganda, I was like, I couldn't do this. So initially I was going to do purses. And when I saw this jewelry, like, my mind just changed. And that's how I started making jewelry. And and I just started. I tried a couple of things. They failed in the beginning. And then I just kept working at it and getting better and better at it. And I'm really grateful that it's something that I do on the side. And you guys can check it out. It's Deanne Juanita on Instagram and Facebook. And you just DM me for purchases, because I'm busy working on my online store as we speak. It should be up.
Oh, wow. So let's talk about that name right there. Come on, tell us about it. You were telling me a story. I said, oh, you got to tell the people about the name of your line and how you thought it was. Go ahead. I'm not going to tell.
Okay, so my full name is, my family calls me Lois.
Oh, wow. I didn't know that.
Yes, my family calls me Lois. Lois is spelled Loiloyce, which is.
Oh, wow.
But my name is Lois, which is Lois. But my dad is Afrikaans and my mom is English. So my family called me Lois growing up my whole childhood. But whenever I was at school, my teachers would call me Lois. Mm-hmm. And I would say to my mom, but Mom, like, I'm super confused. Like, what is my name? Is it Lois? And she would go, it's Lois, but your dad called you Lois because that's how he pronounces it. So I was like, oh, okay. What is it? What is it actually? So when I finished school and I started my career, I decided to go with Lois because I felt like it was easier, because people would know my name really badly. From Louisa to Louis to Loisa, it just was a butchering of. My family calls me, and if people call me Lois, I love it because that's my home name. But like when I went into the professional career, I stuck with Lois. My second name is, so it's Lois Deanne Juanita Du Plessis.
Du Plessis. One more time.
Lois Deanne Juanita Du Plessis.
It's not Du Plessis with the S on the end.
No, the S is silent. Okay. So,
that's all you had to say. Du Plessis. Now I got it. There's no S. Du Plessis. How do I know you for 10 years and not know how to say? You'd be like, no, don't worry about it. No, we train the people to say your name. Okay. I appreciate you just for keeping your accent. Hello?
Well, the reason why I wasn't that, if people get my name wrong, then I feel some kind of way. But with my surname, I learned when I moved overseas that many people have different interpretations. Like, for instance, my third name is Juanita, as I was named by my mom. When I moved to Texas,
Juanita.
And listen, all my Mexican family, they were like, Juanita.
What's up, bro?
Like, and all my Black American friends, they were like, Juanita girl. And I was
what's
like,
up?
And I was trying to be like, oh, guys, it's Juanita. So I just decided, let everybody be themselves. Let them speak your name the way that, Nelson Mandela says, if you speak to a man in his language and you speak to his heart. So like, I adapted that, and I was like, well, however people call me is fine. I used to be really particular about it, but I really hate it when people mess up my name because it's 4 letters.
Oh, the lowest part. Okay.
Yeah.
You were very forgiving. I didn't realize until we were just kind of going on everything, and then I said Du Plessis, and my husband, because he's from New Orleans, and there's like a lot of French. There's a French origin there. He was like, "That's not how you say that." And I was like, "So I've been married to you for 17 years, and we almost know her. You're not gonna tell me? You didn't tell me that that's not how you
I
say
didn't know
it."
it's French. I didn't even know it was a French surname. I just
Yeah.
thought it was a typical South African surname because it's a very common South African surname. Until I was in New Orleans and they were like, "Oh, you have a French surname," and I was like, "I do."
You do. Okay. Well, I heard you say something about the different jobs. A child,
Yeah.
let's keep it 100. This transition, the transition of the money that we used to make touring and doing singing records is not the money that we make now. That's a
No.
whole different workshop. But I just want to be honest about the transition. And I think that you and we've had our moments of tears on the phone. I called you from the Starbucks coffee shop. Miss Dove Award winner had to be, I won't even say humbled. It was just a humbling process to remember the worth of work and the value. That's a whole different workshop. But I remember I called you from Starbucks on my 10-minute break, and you called me and you was at the cleaners.
Yeah.
You was having a bad day too. It was like, what happened to our lives? Like, what happened? But I'm just grateful that we're here. And I
Yeah.
still kept pressing. Like I started that process, doing a lot of therapy and church and counseling and, good counseling, good sisterhoodship to pull me through and deal
Yeah.
with some hard issues to realize that what our experience really didn't have to do, or our accomplishments were not who we were. So I was just wondering, we talked about some of it, what you could share with some of the background singers that want to do this for a career, the reality of it, the takeaway, the pros and the cons, if you have any advice for them, and share some etiquette, because you definitely display etiquette. A lot of us don't know when we go on tour. This ain't the time to be selling your CDs, and well, back then it was CDs, but this ain't the time to be, and maybe you can slip a business card or two, but this ain't the time to be doing auditions at, the artists. Go and talk to me. I won't do it because they're not gonna get mad at me. Okay, I'm just saying.
Man, I learned so much along the way in terms of etiquette. I'm grateful. I think the first thing I would say about background vocalist etiquette is coming low. You know, not that you're lowering yourself
Mhm.
as a singer, but like know your place. I think a lot of people a lot of people want to be the star, and like if you're working for the artist, just like decrease. God will increase you at the right time.
Yep.
Just be in your place, be in your position, be ready when it's your time to be called. And I think that's the biggest thing I would say is just know your place and know your job.
In a replacement job. Does that count for being a worship leader too? Because that you are.
Yes, I being a worship leader, um, you know, oftentimes we become so offended when the pastor says, "Well, I don't want to hear this," or "I don't want to hear that." And ultimately, like if you're not serving, it's the same thing because you're serving the vision of the house, right?
Yep.
And I think of it the same way with because Israel and New Breed was ministry for me. It wasn't just another job. You're
Awesome.
serving the vision of the house. What if you don't know vision? If you don't know what the vision is, if you haven't bought into the vision, then why are you there?
Right.
You know, why are you there? Are you there for your own agenda? Are you there to just get a mic? So background vocalists, I think it's definitely difficult if your only intention is for you to get your way up to make your own music, because it's
Right.
it's not it's not that easy. It's a lot of work. It's a
Is
lot
there
of
a
work.
difference between worship and a background singer? Because sometimes that could be a little tricky for me too. When that's your profession, do you have like, is there a difference for you? Like, what is the difference?
Yeah, there's definitely a difference. I mean, if you're a session artist, there's a certain professionalism that comes with and knowledge and skill that comes with presenting um, yourself. And I think this is a debate that people are having around the world right now, because as musicians we've always been overlooked and not appreciated monetarily. And so people will overlook you because, oh, you're just a singer.
Singer, right.
Oh,
Well,
you're
actually,
just
if you want to be honest, like we actually are the front line. Do you feel a certain way about musicians being paid and singers not being paid, or should you be paid as a worship on the work? See, there's team, there's serving, there's a whole lot of fine lines that you kind of have to. So do you from the travel that you had, did you see a difference, or being on the team that you were, was there a difference made between the singers and the musicians?
I think there'll always be a difference, and I think I came to the point where I made peace with that,
Yeah.
because it's a different skill that you bring and that the musician brings. You can't compare yourself to a keyboardist. Can you play all the stuff that he's playing?
Uh-huh.
Can you program? Can you use Ableton? Can you do all of that? So you can't really compare yourself. I'm not saying, but also you do bring something to the table. So know your worth and know your value and know what that is. And I think that's what's often lost, is that we don't know our worth.
Right. Oh
Yeah,
yes, Lord.
we
It
don't
takes
know.
a long time to get there, man. Whew,
Yes,
that's a
come
different
in.
workshop. Man,
We
oh
come,
man.
just accepting whatever we're given. And I think once you've worked a little bit in the industry and you've gained a catalog like you have, because we haven't all gained a catalog. I mean, you have
Excuse
a whole
me. Excuse me.
you
I need to
know
send you a sheet on what not to talk about on the Mind of My Own Purpose podcast next time. Hello.
I think you should know your worth, number one,
Yes.
and come in low, and just, I think. Okay, so just back to the question before I lose my train of thought. So for worship, I think it also depends on the house that you're in.
Yep.
Um, what is the condition that you were brought into the house on?
Yep.
Were you brought in as a worship leader with a full-time job, or were you asked to serve? I also
Yep.
think that we all can use our own discretion and say, because I served at my church voluntarily for 6, 7 years, maybe 5, 6 years, but because we were building a church from scratch, so I knew the dynamic, that I knew that my pastors were not able to do that. We were all volunteers,
Yep.
all of us at the time. So I think it depends on how you were brought into a situation, and I think more honest conversations need to be had in terms of that, going forward with worship leaders, musicians, and pastors.
Yep.
I think once the conversation is had, then your feelings don't get hurt, because now you know what is the expectation. If you're not full time and you're going out and doing gigs, your pastor can't necessarily be upset with you, because that's, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's
Yep.
you need to still earn a living,
Yep.
because singing is our job. Whereas some of the volunteers that come and sing are accountants. This is just really a voluntary
A
thing for them.
volunteering thing. Yep. Yep.
I think conversation is the most important thing. Whoever you're serving under, make sure that there's the clarity between the two of you.
Yep. Conversation is everything. In many instances, I had to learn that the hard way. And I think the church that I attend now is amazing. My pastor is actually a singer and professional singer. He's toured all over the world. He has a heart for the musicians and the singers. He understood that. I knew going in, a lot of us come in broken, and, we have issues and with our tissues, for our issues, whatever. But I had to really do the work, and like, do I want to do this right now, and what kind of heart am I going in with? It's important as singers that we take breaks, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Get
Yeah.
filled, and if we're used to always pouring and pouring and pouring, it's important that we deal with those things before
Yeah.
we bring some other stuff that we don't need to be bringing, and serving doesn't count.
Yeah.
So I think it's important to really know your seasons, know when they're changing. And I think that a conversation, which is some of the hardest things that people don't want to have. It took me a year to have a conversation to say, hey, you know what? I think I'm supposed to be doing something else, because when you're trained to always, the moment you go into a ministry, they grab you. And I think the gift, they love the gift, but they don't really realize that as vocalists, we are people and we are human and we are flawed, just, as pastors are and human, period. It doesn't matter whether, ministers, artists, we're people. So
Yeah.
anyway, it's a different workshop. I just want to talk on that a little bit because these are some of the things that some of the vocalists we go through, like, should I sing in church? Should I sing secular? Should I, we're talking 30 years in of this, back and forth, like, save meant this or Christian meant that. But that's a different workshop. Anyway, I just wanted to, I'm sure that some people have some questions for you. Anybody? Let's see who we got over there. I see Sharice. Hey, Sharice. Hey, Michael, Boyd, and Tina, Chris. I can't see. Wait, let's see what's happening over here. Anybody have a question? Anybody want to type one in down there? That I can see.
At those questions, I just want to say, I think being a part of the entertainment industry outside of church is also a calling.
Yes, it is. Come on now.
You have to be called to as a child of God. You can't just be, you can't just decide, oh, I'm going to go and sing secular music. Like, if you're not called to it, you will burn out and fall, and it will eat you up. So as a child of God, that has to be something that you're called to, and you have to be a light.
Right. Exactly. Know all about that. Yeah.
So, yeah, go ahead with the questions.
Yeah. Anybody have a question down there? Let me see. Let's see. Fred is on the line. Hey, Freda. Hey, Alicia. She calls me Auntie. I'm okay with being called Auntie now. Who else can I see? Keith, Joel, Love, Wiley, Val. Hey, girl. Jana. Anybody have questions?
Nobody.
No, I can't see them, and I'm sure on YouTube they do. I don't have a whole team yet to get all this stuff in here, but are you having fun?
I'm having fun. I'm having fun hanging out with you, and I wanted to ask you, can I ask you a question?
You don't have to spend it next time. You cutting up. You cutting up on the show. You cutting up. What's that?
Please, one question for you.
What's that?
What was, two questions, twofold. One question, twofold. What was your favorite moment starting out as a background singer? And because listen, you've worked with Whitney Houston, so I'm already like I'm a Whitney fan. Who was the person that you most enjoyed working with in your career in terms of people that you looked up?
Lord, oh gosh. Okay, the go-to is, I haven't thought about it a whole lot. I think my favorite moment in recording, and we didn't know where this record was going because we were both working on our albums at the same time. It was the Brandy record. So that was a lot of fun. And I didn't see Brandy a whole lot, like a lot of demos and stuff. But we worked really hard on that record. And Keith Crouch is like the producer that I was working with. That is the nephew of Andre Crouch. Which was like king in our house growing up. So it was just we clicked automatically when we first started working together, and he would just give me all these notes, and I'd be like, oh yeah, I can hit that, because I've been singing with Andre like all my life. Well, starting from the This Is Another Day record, which is the babies don't know about that, but I would practice all these notes and stuff. So
wait, reverse. You sang on Andre's record?
Oh, did I do did I make an Andre record yet? I don't think I did. Nope. I'm thinking.
Because I'm like you. I grew up on Andre. That was my.
Yeah.
That and Jimmy Swaggart.
Jimmy who?
Jimmy Swaggart.
Oh. You better love some Jimmy Swaggart to take it all the way back. Come on now. My daddy used to listen to Jimmy Swaggart, but you weren't about to tell him nothing about little Jimmy Swaggart. You hear me?
That's how I
Or
grew
Kenneth
up.
Hagin. Okay, well we supposed okay. So it was the Brandy record that was fun. We was hot. We was in there. I think that's when ADATs first came out. So we was in that in a room, a bedroom, creating these hits. And I was not I was a songwriter and an artist, but that's not what I was there for. So good, it's important to know your role. But that was the first producer that I would just be intrigued to sit there, and they didn't ask me, well, what do you hear? Sing this, well, write the part. He would literally be sitting there making up all these parts. So I didn't make up any of them parts. All those harmonies in between that Andre used to do, it was just in the DNA. And I was just sitting there amazed. Well, can you hit this? Yeah, let's do it. So it sounded like horns, like the harmony parts were like horns. They didn't spend a whole lot of time on like the leads for the demo, but they would just get transferred over. So I remember when the record came out and I was waiting for mine to come out on BET, I Want to Be Down had come on. I didn't sing on I Want to Be Down. I came in after that and finished up the record. When Baby came on, which I think Rasan wrote, Kipper Jones wrote, and Keith, they all collaborated together. When that came on and I saw the video, I was like, this is fire. My record still hadn't come out. And Brandy was very young. She used to call me on the phone and was like, hey, Cherie, I'm so excited. I can't wait to da-da-da-da-da-da. She knew the songs on my record and I knew the songs on hers. But hers came out. Mine never did. So it was just fun just watching her, right? So every time I'd see it, I'd be super excited. The second song, my moment and I'm going to be completely honest, one, there's a lot of records that I've sung on that I've never met the artist. We only know each other by name and by voice. Whitney Houston, I never met, but I sang on her album, okay, because Babyface hired me for that. But who I did remember meeting, and I was pregnant, super pregnant with my third child, was Toni Braxton.
Oh.
And baby, let me tell you something. I was so tired and so pregnant. She came in the room and I was like, oh, hey. I was just out of it. And she was just sitting there talking to me. And I was like, oh, this is the first artist to like sit. And she was so sweet and so nice and so engaging. But that because I wasn't like, oh my God, Toni Braxton. I didn't do it. Like she was on her second record and she was huge. But I just was tired. And we had, a session with Keith is a session with Keith. Ain't no sitting down with Keith. You're going to work. You're going to work, right? So, yeah, we had a really good conversation. And she probably didn't remember it, but she left an impression on me that, wow, that is a well-rounded young lady. Because I wasn't starstruck. I was just in the moment. So our exchange was good. That was a good moment for me with her. So that's
I had it on Facebook.
Huh? Is that a question?
Oh, on Facebook.
Good question. Get the interview. Steffi Clark says, get interview. Yeah, shout out to Keith. Oh, shout out to Keith. Hey, Steph. Yeah, that's like the bottom. That's pretty much on all the records that I've said. CeCe Winans, the Winans. I mean, like those were like people that I grew up with. So I got, even though I wasn't connected to gospel, at that time I had some issues to work out, growing up, as we all do after we get a certain age. We have to try to find our place in God and our foundation in God and what we want to believe. Yeah. It was kind of away from me. So when I recorded with CeCe, when I recorded with Winans, when I recorded, I could care less. I was just like, okay. And then I wrote a song, which ended up being a Dove Award with For Anointed. And I was like, oh, that was great. And I had a lot of fun with them, but I just wasn't connected like that. Anything is possible. In him all things are possible. Yeah. So anyway.
Some of this for when I interview you.
Well, you know what? You're fired. So this is kind of what the singers do when we get together. We talk and we share our experiences. We pray for one another. We hold each other up. And like I said, I remember calling you. I'm gonna post my apron. My a lot of people in Texas know I worked at Starbucks. They know I did. This was just last year. Don't blame.
No shame. There's no shame.
Right, exactly. You got to do what you got to do.
And I think that's something that needs to be said to all singers. Thank you, Labia.
That's Molly. Hey, Molly. I'm screaming in the mic. I'm sorry. That's Molly. What is she
I
saying?
think there's something to be said of, if there's one thing that I learned going to New York to do auditions there for acting, everybody there sings, acts, dances, but they're willing to do the other grind, which is waitressing,
Yep.
bartending, doing whatever you can until you can do what you want. Do whatever you can until you can do what you want. And I think that is something I've adapted with my life. So whatever I have to do in the now, it's fine, until I can do what I want to do.
Yep. And also, what I learned is singing came naturally to me. It was just like running water. It really didn't feel like work because it was something that I enjoyed doing. But to be an artist, and there's a certain discipline. Let me tell y'all something right now. Get your education. Go through. Do your work. Don't be playing star in school, because some of y'all went to school with me. Y'all know that's a different workshop. But that's a whole different workshop. Some of y'all know that I was singing 24/7, and school was just not my thing that I wanted to do. Couldn't wait to get out of school so I can go be a. That's what I wanted to do. So beyond that now, what it is that you have to still. It's going to take the work ethic as an independent artist that some of us didn't get in college, and you have to learn it almost before 50 to say this is what it takes to be present to your artistry and for it to work. That's a different workshop. We'll talk about that next time because I know we're on a limited time, but we got to do the work. You don't escape. So I want y'all to school with 1988, 1999. You don't get away from the work. You don't get away from the work. I'm doing the work right now. Even them gym classes that I used to just not show up to. I ended up having to train still, So you got to put the work in, and the spiritual work too. You got to stay grounded. You can get lost, and I just thank God for just keeping the both of us. Even the artists that we've had, we've worked for. A lot of us are still here, but a lot of us are not. And so people are like, why you always celebrate 50, 30, 50, 30? Because you haven't walked the mile in my shoes, and you don't know why I'm celebrating. We are still here. We are still here with purpose, and just now discovering our purpose. So, and it was never about being a star. It was never about selling 1 billion records and whatever they have going on now on social media and stuff like that, which I left a post about earlier. It's bigger than us, and so we can be very myopic as artists, very me. But I'm now coming into it's bigger. It's bigger. I released a single, but here we are. I'm like, we should put a platform for all the artists. This is great. And I don't know if y'all know it or not. For background singers, there is a page for background singers called Team BGV. Go sign up, please. It's a whole community over there. Go love on the people and let you know it's all types of generations. So, Lois, you have been amazing.
Thank you.
I want y'all to. Okay, so listen. Y'all know this is the whole COVID-19 thing, and everybody's pretty much shut down. And I do think that we're not above it. Industry people or musicians or creatives are not above others. Yeah. Let's be clear about that. But this is our livelihood. And I think that we have taken a huge hit on our salaries and things that we've been being paid to perform. So I have Lois's single that we had worked together on the website. And I think it's right there. You can go there. She's first. Go on right on there and click on there and bless her, because it's going right to her. That's her gift. So y'all be a blessing to her, and just buy her single.
Buy single. Did you? Out.
You know what? You're not getting it
as well, because we work together in
this. We work
thing.
Together.
Yeah. So you buy Cherie's single.
Well, I guess it's you though, not myself.
And gotta sell me, I sell you. That's how it works.
Here's the deal. Everybody knows a musician. We're not working right now. So send some love. Y'all know how this is. Music makes the world go round, and it really does. It really does. It is healing. God speaks and ministers through music. All types. So don't forget the creative. Show some love to the creative. Even the ones that that aren't on this platform. Show some love to them, because it's hard for all of us. Yep.
Yeah, it is.
All right. Well, it has been so good having everybody join us today. Do you have a website for your jewelry?
It's just Deanne Juanita on Instagram and Facebook, and I will, if you guys follow me on my personal page at
Mm-hmm.
J Du Plessis on Instagram and Facebook is just Lois Du Plessis, and Twitter is Lois Du Plessis. But I'll be posting as
Let's
soon as.
see.
I was a kid, they used to tease me and go, 2 + 3, 2 + 3, 2 + 3.
Oh, that's
So
good too. 2+3. Du Plessis.
yeah,
Ah,
now as an
I got it.
adult, I've gotten over the bullying, and I'm just like, it's the easiest way to remember my surname. Just say 2 + 3, Du Plessis, 2 + 3. It's easy, right?
Let's see. I love that. I got it now. Go to her page, get her jewelry. It's amazing. Show her some love. Thank you. I want to shout out to my husband, Nye Brown, who did all the light and the production, all the pictures y'all seeing up there. I got to give it up for the King B. All right. And Ophie, my girl, she's co-executive producing this thing with me. Thank y'all so much. And we have some very exciting guests coming up for you next week. You'll find out who that is on tonight. Y'all make sure y'all follow Lois Du Plessis on Instagram, on Facebook, on Twitter, and on, you have YouTube, Mama?
I do.
Come on, YouTube. Go on over to YouTube. That's right. And come on and visit me at Cherie Patrice. That's 2 R's, 2 E's on Instagram, on Twitter, on Facebook, on YouTube. And come on and see our website, to the website, www.cheriepatrice.com cheriepatrice.com/shop-1. Come on over and support independent artistry. I love y'all. Mwah.